in Nicholas County was compromised. A wall had helped collapse and flood into the old mine, and many of the miners, as you all know, were evacuated, but we still have a missing miner. Over the last couple days, there have been a number of dive teams that have been going down and exploring all the potential areas where there may be air pockets. And also at the same time, there's been a very aggressive dewatering effort to try to pull the water from the mine to make things go a lot faster. I'm told that there are a lot of challenges on the ground, in particular when you have to go through the water. There are different training requirements to be a skilled diver than there are to be a mine safety worker. So the divers have gone in, they've explored large swaths of the cave. We've actually been working with the National Cave Rescue Commission. They have a lot of expertise in this area. And we've worked with a lot of members, state agencies, federal agencies, and the company. I just got off the phone and had a conversation with the company about some of the latest things that are going on. They are very hopeful that they're going to continue to be very aggressive with the dewatering efforts, which they believe is the best way to make the quickest, have the quickest ability to have search for the remaining parts of the cave that have yet to be reviewed. This has been an around-the-clock response from the very beginning since Saturday, and we're going to continue to do everything imaginable to help. I know I've personally been in touch with people around West Virginia and across the country in an effort to try to make sure if there's anything humanly we could do to save the miner's life, we want to do it. We take care of our own in West Virginia, and I'm going to keep pressing, and we're going to continue to push because we want to make sure that we give that miner every opportunity to live. And so that's the mode we're in right now. I know it's been a couple days. I'm not going to surmise about odds. I've been asked about that before. I'm not doing that. I'm going to just do everything I can to help out and work with the company, work with the relevant agencies, take the counsel of professionals, because this is a very serious situation dealing with not only the water, but what happens with the gas and the lack of oxygen in an area. And we also want to make sure we're protecting the safety of the miners who are down there, not the miners, I'm sorry, the divers that are going down there. That's of critical concern. So we're doing everything we can. We'll report back more information when we have it, but I wanted to update people on that. And this obviously will be an evolving situation, and we'll probably have more updates for you later today. And so just be patient, but we're going to provide information as soon as possible. I have been asked to release the name of the person because of the fact that it's an ongoing search. We have not released that. I don't think that's appropriate at this time, but we will, of course, provide information to you whenever we can, and we'll keep updating you. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of the miner who's missing and all of his friends and colleagues. In many respects, we're very fortunate that so many of the miners have been able to, they were able to get out when the accident occurred. But we're going to keep fighting and working, doing everything imaginable to help find the remaining miner. So I just wanted to update you guys.
May I ask a question related to that?
Yeah, sure.
We had got some input from, I'm not sure what the source of it was, that they might need more powerful pumps or machinery to, I don't know, drilling or whatever, to deal with the dewatering effort. Is the state being active in that?
Yeah, we're doing everything we can. I just got off the phone, and every phone call I have is, you have unlimited ability to get whatever you need to be able to move faster in the dewatering effort. And so we've been on top of this from the very beginning, from deep into the night on Saturday, all day yesterday. We've been doing whatever we can, but there is nothing that we would spare to put to try to save the life of the miner, period. And that's what we're doing. In fact, yesterday I was on the phone with a number of people from Washington, D.C. and the military, because they were identifying whether there were people within some of the military or the other guards in surrounding states that had expertise. So we're doing everything possible that we can, And we'll keep asking that question, Bob, until this process is done. So I might as well ask, are there other questions about the mining before I go to rural health? Sure.
It seems like we got a lot of good information there, but are there any more specifics so we know about the safety precautions that were taken in the mine before leading up to it, or is the primary focus on finding the mine?
Right now, the primary focus is on trying to find the miner. So rather than speculate as to all the issues that happened before the wall was compromised, I think we want to put all of our energy into trying to find the miner. Obviously, after this process, there'll be, a full review of everything that happened, and we can make that available at the right time to you. But right now, all focus is on trying to help the miner out.
So MSHA didn't force anybody to back out because a certain equipment was lacking. That wasn't an issue.
I guess when you say MSHA is part of this process, so we're obviously talking with MSHA and we're doing everything we can. There have been multiple dive teams that have gone down, and right now there's a lot of focus on the dewatering effort because people have looked at, there's been some concern expressed about what happens if you're dewatering at the same time that you're doing diving, and both the oxygen and some of the other impacts of what happens when they go down. So we're just going to keep pressing rather than get into every detail. We're going to work with the experts on the ground, and we're going to be on top of it, and as we learn more, we'll let you know. Any other questions on mining? Okay, we had a sense that it's obviously a very, very important issue, and I know that we'll keep doing everything we can to update the public on this. We wanted to bring people together today to talk about rural health care. I know that we had a release last week, and we talked about the importance of rural health care, but in light of traveling across the state and visiting so many people and talking more about it, we thought we'd come in and talk a little bit more about the process and also the importance of so many of the initiatives that we've put in place. We know that what we're doing here to improve rural health is one of the single most important things we could do as a state. I want to emphasize again that the relationship between healthy people and good healthcare outcomes is fundamental to improving the economy of our state and improving workforce participation. So we're doing everything possible to ensure that we're actually able to move the needle from a healthcare outcome perspective on the core areas of obesity, diabetes, COPD, congestive heart failure, substance use disorder. And so all the prongs that we have are designed for that needle movement, whether it means dramatically increasing the amount of telehealth that's available through use through hospitals, through federally qualified health centers, clinics, having some of those sites and the hubs set up, perhaps at schools and other places. We want to facilitate access in a way the state's not seen before. We think if we do that and bring telehealth and technology to people, and then be able to also bring people to the technology and to the clinics and to the hospitals, that could make a meaningful difference of improving healthcare outcomes. Now, that's going to be combined with a very aggressive effort to recruit and retain many more people into the Mountain State. We have talked to many of the providers across West Virginia about what we're trying to do to facilitate their ongoing efforts, but to build anew. The application is designed to always look to do new things. It's not supposed to supplant existing, but we're excited about the prospects of being even stronger from a recruiting, a retaining, a retraining perspective. We've had wonderful meetings and discussions with our technical college and our higher education policy commission, and we think we're going to have a very dynamic system to recruit more people. I've been saying this for a long time. We need net migration in our state to survive as a state. We have to keep growing. And that means we have to make sure we're keeping the young people that we have here in our state. We're training them, letting them know of the many good opportunities available. But then separately, we're also bringing a lot more new people in. We're going to do that. We're also excited about the technology investments that we're going to see in place. West Virginia has a chance, as it's improving its healthcare outcomes, to improve its workforce participation and its economy, to also take advantage of the incredible healthcare technology economic opportunities that are out there. I know I'm fond of pointing to the Rockefeller Institute, but there are going to be a number of them across the state that if they could be successful in commercializing some of their technologies, why shouldn't we have the ability to have more homegrown manufacturing jobs right here in West Virginia? That's an exciting opportunity. And anytime you can move the needle to be able to get hundreds, if not thousands of people, really good paying jobs, great opportunities, that's an amazing thing. And we're going to be ready for that through the enhanced training we're doing through the technical colleges and through the universities. And I had a chance, I was at Marshall for the football game over the weekend, and I've been in constant contact with WVU and the technical colleges, and people are really excited that we're going to be able to do things we've never been able to do before, and that's good. And I'm really excited about this. I've always said from the beginning, good healthcare outcomes are essential to improving workforce participation, which is the #1 challenge facing West Virginia. And so we're going to keep working on that. My administration is focused on these issues every single day, and I think we're making progress on it between what we're doing here from a rural health transformation perspective, what we're doing on workforce participation. I also want to preview that we're going to have some really cool announcements later this week with our energy summit. More good news, building on last week's big announcement that we've been working on a long time, where First Energy had stepped up, and there's going to be a 1.2 gigawatt new gas-powered power plant. That's incredible. And we know that's going to open up the door for more manufacturing, for data centers, and other types of initiatives. So many really positive things that are on the horizon we're going to build on. But it starts with rural health. And so I'm going to keep pushing for that. And as I mentioned, very soon we can give you a date when we can release the application. We're having discussions with CMS about that, and also for some additional ways we can be successful in our application. I think it's really important that we do everything imaginable to maximize the dollars that are available. So we're going to try to make things available to you as soon as possible. Bear with us. We're trying to push for West Virginia's position to increase in line, and I'm very optimistic about that. So rural health is important, and we're going to keep talking about that issue. I also wanted to update people about what's going on with SNAP. Obviously, this is another moving target, that there seem to be changes in what's occurring, but relying on the most recent announcements coming out of Washington, it does appear that the government shutdown may soon be coming to an end. Notwithstanding that fact, this morning I authorized sending an additional $2 million to the food banks, which then can be distributed to the food pantries, because I want to make sure, we don't know the exact date in terms of when the government will be open, and I want to make sure that no one goes hungry. That's always been the goal. If people are telling you otherwise, what I would say is this: we have activated the Guard. We have a very robust 211 number. People will come to your house. You will not go hungry. So if they're saying the opposite, no, it's not true. Know that there are people that have the ability to reach out and to get the help they need. We've looked at every possible way to do this. And I know with the government coming back online, we hope soon, obviously it'll be easier to just get the cards back in place, and that's important. But we've looked at every single way, and there were questions that come in about the status of the cards. I can promise you, I have challenged our contractor to move like the wind, and we've been very clear we need to be able to do this. We have different contractors than other states, but I want to push and push, and I promise you, me pushing, I'm pretty aggressive about this stuff. I want our people to get the help that they need. So I know a lot of questions will come about that. What I understand is the best scenario for us is if the government reopens, we can get the fully loaded cards out very quickly. Obviously, where it's a little bit different, if there are partial benefits, that takes a little bit longer. But in the meantime, that's why we're going to make sure we continue to be very aggressive in terms of getting the resources out to the food banks, to the food pantries, and having our Guard work with us. So I wanted to mention those pieces and update people. There's a lot going on today, but I know that we're also coming to our Energy Summit, which is, I believe I'm speaking on the 13th, where we'll have some important economic development announcements that I think will be very, very positive. So wanted to mention that to folks, and I'm grateful that you're here today, and I'm happy to take any questions that you have. Stephen?
Well, I got two questions.
Yeah.
Question number one, you're talking about the SNAP benefit push out. I know
Yeah.
obviously that's still going through an appeals process, but I
Right.
think there's always been the ability for the partial benefits to still go out. So are those going out? And what's preventing that?
Yeah.
And I'll ask my second one.
Absolutely. So we have pushed our contractor very, very aggressively on that. And so they had some dates that were not acceptable to me, and we've been very aggressive trying to get that done as quickly as possible. As I think we've talked about in the past, some contractors have moved more aggressively than others in terms of the timeline. But if there are partial benefits, the first day that's possible, we'll have that happen. I don't have an exact date for you now in terms of partial benefits. The hope is that the full benefits will be available very, very soon. But we've pushed our guys to get that done in the upcoming days. And as we learn more about the exact date, I can let you know. But we know that there have been some challenges with the vendors, and we're going to continue to be very aggressive with that.
Well, which vendors are we talking about? Are we talking about Fidelity, the main EBT? Or are we talking
There's
about
both
Optum?
Fidelis and Optum. We have two vendors. So without going into all the details, I can tell you we have challenged them to move very, very aggressively. That's important. But I want to emphasize the quickest way all of this comes to an end is for the shutdown to end, because what they say from a technical perspective is that they can more quickly load up the full benefits than any of the partial benefits. Next question, Bob.
Sort of an accounting question. Is it $2 million in addition to the $13 million, or is that part of it?
That's now part of the 13 million, so we're up to 13 million right now. And so what we've been doing is talking very consistently with the food banks and the food pantries. And I think what the messaging has been that we're on top of this and that we're getting the resources and the food to those in need. And that's why I want to say, I sometimes you read people say, well, we need help. I'm asking everyone, reach out to 211. We have people standing by ready to help. We have the Guard. People can take food to folks' houses. We want to make sure no one goes hungry. That's the top priority. And so if there's an issue, call 211 and we can be helpful.
And the same $13 million, when you were on Face the Nation, I thought you said you did expect it to get reimbursed, and you told us you did, but maybe I misunderstood.
No, I didn't speak to that issue. What I said is that we've had a good working relationship with the Trump administration overall, and it's hard to predict what will happen. I know that there were a lot of deals that were cut for the Senate in order to get the government to be open, at least the Senate to agree. So we're going to have to watch that very, very carefully. But we're proceeding and we're solving problems. Regardless of what happens on the federal level, the state government has stepped up and will continue to step up to make sure that people don't go hungry. Any other questions?
There was a very brief window on Thursday when it looked like stuff would be fully funded throughout the country, and we saw, I think it was 20 states that got to work immediately to try to send those funds out. Now there's a battle to see if they can even do that. But I was curious what the conversations looked like in your office when we did have that brief window.
Yeah, I know when we had reached out, they had said that that was not the right time to do it, but I can promise you I've been challenging our team to move as aggressively as possible because we need that. We need to make sure that systems get back online. So look, there have been a lot of changes. These are cases that are going in the court, and so there have been some different decisions coming out. So that's, I think, caused some of the gyrations that you've seen. But I can tell you on our end, we've been very, very aggressive pushing to get this done, and I have very high hope, especially if the government reopens this week, those benefits are going to flow very, very quickly. If it's partial, I'm still very hopeful that that's going to flow this week. But I've been clear that in no case should we have people go hungry. And that's why I'm keeping the guard. They've been doing active. They've been doing a great job working all across West Virginia, helping out with management, logistics, coordination, and we have that 211 number. So don't let anyone convince you that everything isn't being done. Everything is being done, and we're trying to make sure we help ensure that people don't get hungry. That's the issue that we need to focus on.
But just
Yeah.
a quick follow-up. So,
Yeah.
and we're just talking about the partial benefits
Sure.
that the federal government can push out. If our vendors, whether it's Optum, Fidelity, whoever, if they can work out whatever issues that are preventing,
Then we would release it, yes.
That's all we're waiting on in regards to those benefits, those
Yes.
partial benefits going out on EBT cards.
That's my understanding, yes. So the moment that's done or able to, from a partial perspective, we can run with it. So that's that part's simple. But as I mentioned at the beginning, they were having a lot of technical issues and feasibility issues because for a long time prior to this, I've made it clear that I want us to be running as fast as possible to be able to get these systems working. That's always been the goal. So look, I've had calls and meetings today on that to really challenge all the contractors to move very fast. I mean, they must. I mean, people's lives are at stake, and we need people to do their job competently. Hey, Amelia.
I just want to get an update on potentially calling the legislature back in. I know
Sure.
we're looking at a moving target of the shutdown potentially ending this week, but you have now given $2 more million.
Sure.
So how are you feeling about working with the
It's a great question. So we've tried to keep the legislative leadership updated on that, and I'm trying to now look and see what's happening. It's hard to forecast with a crystal ball what's going on in D.C., but I am cautiously optimistic that the shutdown's going to come to an end, at least with the Senate getting the 60 votes. Now, of course, it has to go through the Senate completely and go through the House, but I'm probably going to try to make that call by the end of the day today or early tomorrow, because obviously we believe from the conversations with the food banks that we're in a good position to at least November 17th. That's what I've been told, I've been briefed on, and I think that's important. So we feel really good about that, the work we've done. Keep in mind, we're looking at $13 million, and today's the 10th of November. That's a lot of money in a very short period of time. That combined with the private sector generosity and what a lot of the food banks had on hand, we're in a good position to make sure we're keeping anyone from going hungry. But I don't want to fall behind this. As I've said all along, we're going to be very proactive on it, and that's what we're doing. So if it's later today or tomorrow, I want to make sure that we're gauging what's going on. And if I need to call the legislature back in, and I'll probably know in the next 24 to 36 hours, I won't be afraid to do it. But if the government's going to be open again this week, that should address a lot of the outstanding issues. There may be some follow-up, of course, that we may have to deal with, but in terms of if the government opens up, the full benefits, I'm told, could be loaded onto the card almost immediately. That's good.
And just a clarification question. If someone needs a delivery for food,
Yeah.
and you're saying the National Guard can deliver it, is 211 the way for someone to go about getting that service?
That's the best way we've been told right now. And we've had over 200 guardsmen that have been working so hard. They're doing unbelievable work. I can't say enough good things about them. So obviously there are a lot of volunteers at these food pantries and within the food banks. So there are a lot of different ways we can help people in need. And that's why I encourage people, if there is an issue, if someone is food deprived, please call 211, let us know. And that's always been very important. To me, that's the most important thing. Obviously, whenever you have Washington dysfunction, it's up to the state to solve problems. That's what we're working on doing. And the model that we've done, I would argue there's no better way that we can do it than this. Obviously, you like to have the ability to move even faster with these contractors, and I'm putting every possible amount of pressure on people to move and to get this stuff done. And by the way, I can tell you, I talked to some of my colleagues over the weekend, and a lot of states are facing kind of their challenges, and depending upon the contractor they have, that sometimes had an impact in what they've been able to do. Any other questions? I think we're probably going to be able to come back to you on a number of different issues. Obviously, on SNAP, We may learn more in the next 24 to 36 hours. On the mining accident, we will let you know as we learn more, and obviously that's an evolving situation. So I'm really grateful that everyone's here, and I'll look forward to talking with you again soon. Thank you, and God bless.